Hello everybody, Crypto Chaperone here, and today it looks like a great day to begin investing in cryptocurrencies. Well, actually, it looks like yesterday would have been a great day to invest in cryptocurrencies, but if you haven't been putting new capital into cryptocurrencies, and I'm hoping you've just been holding your cryptocurrencies strong and not been selling on this major dip, because if you did take the chance to sell yesterday, or when Bitcoin or any of the cryptocurrencies you've had have been potentially down over the past 2-3 weeks, I think after some of the news that we came across yesterday about how the CFTC and the SEC, they had a big meeting about cryptocurrencies and what their aspect was on cryptocurrencies. And during this meeting, it was actually, it was kind of a different tone than what everyone would have thought was going to take place. As you see, China and South Korea and India and all these other countries are trying to crack down on cryptocurrencies and ICOs and stuff like that. And even though they're not outright banning it, they're kind of throwing just negative vibes and everything towards cryptocurrencies, and they're not really giving any sort of good things. They're not really giving cryptocurrencies the benefit of the doubt, or saying that they could be the potential future of technology. But if you paid attention to the meeting that went on yesterday, the conference, it was actually the SEC and the CFTC, the chairmen that were on there. I can't remember the one was like something Clayton, and the other one was J. Christopher Giancarlo, and they were both talking well about cryptocurrencies, and they talked about the things that if you were investing in cryptocurrencies, you would want them to talk about. They talked about how they want cryptocurrencies to grow. They want to let people, these new investors, the young generation, invest in cryptocurrencies and have the freedom to invest in something like this. They were saying how they owe it to us to give us this freedom, and they also want to help to crack down on fraudulent activity on ICOs that are trying to promote themselves as securities and kind of jumping around, and they're promoting themselves as a security in the reality, but they're trying to bounce around and make it look like they're not a security. And they are saying that they want to really crack down on stuff like that, because a lot of people are investing in stuff like this and they're pretty much promised a return in some way, and they are not getting any of their money, and they're in some ways getting schemed and scammed by some of these coins that are coming out. And a lot of these ICOs, if you were paying attention to any of the information coming out, 2017 was a major year for cryptocurrencies and ICOs in general, but it was, I think they said, about 5 to 10% of all ICO money raised was scam money, and a lot of people lost a lot of money in scams then, due to like Telegram channels and Slack channels where people would get in and pretend to be admins and put up just ether addresses and say it started, send your money here for a certain bonus, and people would just start sending their money in. Or you would have situations where there would be a clone of the website made. Possibly it was a .com site and they made it into a .net, a .org, or anything along those lines, and they created an exact clone of the site, and they would go out and promote this and spam it everywhere that the coins have started. The sale ICO has started, and there's pre-sales and all this stuff going on, and you can invest. And whenever anyone hears anything of a pre-sale and there's bonuses going on, more people don't even take the time to look into it, because they think that these bonuses and pre-sales are going to only last a certain amount of time. So they just take whatever they have and they invest right into it without doing any research. And a lot of the times when this was going on, these were actually scams, and there were people that were losing a decent amount of money. There were some ICOs out there that were reimbursing people who were scammed, but it's kind of hard to tell if you were scammed, or maybe you just sent 500 ether to a random address and it was your address in the long run, or maybe you created the scam to begin with and you were just trying to get reimbursed for actual coins from the company you were investing in, as well as you also scammed a bunch of people, or maybe just played a scam by yourself. So these ICOs, they really have to do their research on if they want to give these people their money, or they have to kind of figure out what they want to do. Some of them didn't even give people their money back if they were scammed. A lot of them, they continuously say, we will never ask you for your ERC20 address on the Telegram channels or on any social sites. We're not going to ask you to send us ether. The only official investing periods are the periods that when the countdowns on the website hit zero and stuff like that. And a lot of these, you actually have to be on a whitelist to be in them now. So there's some that are coming out that the whitelists fill up instantly, and then all of a sudden you have these websites popping up that say just invest. You don't need to even be on the whitelist, and that should raise a red flag right there. And hopefully if you guys have been paying attention to cryptocurrencies, or if it's a project you really want to invest in, you should at least know kind of what's going on with it, if there's a whitelist or what's going on. So I'm hoping that you guys are doing your due diligence in this space and kind of looking out for everything that's going on, especially in these days of green, because you're just going to get so excited with these days of green, and you could be potentially investing in something that is not the best project to invest in long term. So as you can see, Bitcoin is definitely up. I think we dropped down below $6,000 yesterday, and Bitcoin recovered up to over 8,500 real quick, and now it's sort of back down, and it's kind of plateaued around the 8,200s, and it's holding there for the moment, so that's good. And Ethereum, definitely up a little bit from where it was. I think it was actually around like 850 this morning, so it's actually down a little bit from where it is in the day, but it's starting to plateau. And all these coins are just in the short term starting to plateau from that major dip we just had. And I'm hoping, and I know a lot of other people are hoping, probably as well as you yourself are hoping, that that dip was the bottom and that we are going to be on our way upward now. And a lot of people are thinking that the that meeting that took place was kind of the benefit for cryptocurrencies. Since all these other countries are cracking down on cryptocurrencies, the United States really stepped up to the plate, and they said, we want to go out, we want to help investors and new people get into this ever-growing space that has potential to take over the future. But we also want to make sure these people aren't getting scammed, and we also want to make sure there's people not out there scamming people and taking innocent people's money. And they just want to make sure that this is done in they want to slowly step in and sort of regulate it. And I think that's a good thing. I think it's kind of it's going to be weird if you've been in this space for a while and it's been running rampant, and you can see coins go up 500 and 600%, and they're not going to step in instantly and do a stock market breaker kind of thing where they start shutting coins down after they go up a certain percent. Now that may be something that happens in the future, but to begin with, they want to just kind of observe the markets and see what people are interested in. They want to see what kind of niches they specifically have to watch for scams to happen in. I'm sure they're watching the lending platforms very closely, and I'm sure they're going to start to find some other places where they need to watch people where they're putting their money, because people are going to start to get scammed. People are going to start to lose their money just doing dumb things. So talking about losing your money and getting scammed, recently, Ledger wallets have actually had a kind of flaw, not in the wallet, but in their Chrome application. So if you have been using a Ledger wallet and you have, I did a Ledger wallet unboxing and kind of how to set it up. And you can go on to the Ledger wallet site and it'll show you their apps, and you can download the Chrome app. Now that is only if you want to use that direct Chrome app. You can open up that app and send and receive tokens on your Ledger wallet for whatever it supports, whether it be Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, Ethereum Classic, ERC20 related tokens or whatnot like that. But when I do it personally, I go onto my Ether wallet and I use my Ledger wallet from there. And it's definitely a lot safer because you have certain wallets that are already programmed into your Ledger. But when you go into the Chrome application, there is a kind of security feature that lets you kind of stay kind of anonymous in a way, and it makes a new wallet every time you were going to receive funds. And this malware actually was going in and it was replacing the wallet that you were actually supposed to be getting with a wallet that some hacker or malware, whoever made this virus, it was their wallet. So when you were sending these funds or receiving these funds, you weren't actually going to get these funds. These funds were going to get sent to their wallet. So Ledger has actually gone out and they've updated their app on the Chrome on the Chrome network, and they've since said that they have fixed the flaw that was there, and they've offered their users more control over their device. So Personally, as I said, I use my Ether wallet, and you can, when you go onto there, it'll give you a list of all your wallets that are associated with your ledger, and you can log into whichever one you want. You can send and receive money specifically from that one, or you can go under a different one, and it shows you all your wallets that you can click on. Now, Ledger Wallet has updated this by showing that they are going to show your receiving wallet on the Ledger, as well as I think on the Chrome application, so you can verify that they are the same. And hopefully this cracks down on just anybody who potentially did lose money, or in the future anyone who could lose money based on this very small malware that was going on. Now, this is not malware that was affecting the actual security of the Ledger wallet. As I've stated before, Ledger, they self-proclaim their hardware wallet to be tamper resistant. So even if somebody were to get a hold of your wallet, and they would not be able to put any sort of malware on your actual wallet. But they can put malware on a computer that you get into, and they could be potentially tracking things that are going on in your computer. And, you know, the verification codes that you put in, those definitely help, but this is just one of the small areas where if somebody does get into your computer and they can manage to replace a receiving or sending address that you're doing before you put it into your wallet, then you could be sending or receiving funds from an address that you're not familiar with, and it could cause you to lose money or somebody else to lose money in the long term. So you always want to be aware of what you're doing in cryptocurrencies. That's why if you are sending money to an exchange or from an exchange, you always want to send a small amount first, just to kind of test the waters, make sure that the transaction goes through properly and everything like that. You don't want to send it to the wrong address, and also you don't want to get your funds locked up in some sort of situation where when I first started trading heavily with big funds, I got into Poloniex, and I saw a lot of people were having troubles with Poloniex. Their funds were getting kind of stuck in a transaction state where it was saying it was sent, but they weren't actually receiving their funds. And it was a major time back then, and cryptocurrency was growing, and support teams could not keep up with the people who were filling out support tickets. And there were people who were waiting months and months to get their support tickets filled. And I'm sure maybe there's some people to this date who haven't got their support tickets filled. And we are having another run with a lot of people coming into cryptocurrencies. So you don't want to get stuck with the small support teams that these platforms do have, trying to answer these thousands and thousands of support tickets that could be potentially pouring in over days and days at a time. This might even be one day at a time. As you can see, places like Binance, they're getting close to 500,000 users whenever they open up their registration periods. So a lot of people are trying to get into this space. A lot of people are going to try to take advantage of new people in this space. And I think the new people in this space just need to do whatever they can to kind of learn the ropes before you really take a dive into this. Especially if you're putting your hard-earned capital into this, you want to make sure that you are not putting it somewhere where it's going to get stolen, or even have the risk of getting stolen. Like on an exchange, as I tell you, try to keep no funds on an exchange that you are not willing to lose. So I just want to talk about real quick a couple of things on CNBC. It's really interesting if you guys go to CNBC and you kind of follow their articles throughout the day. They're written about specific people and they do interviews and stuff like that. But if you read them, it's just they completely go against you. There's articles that say Bitcoin's going to hit $1 trillion potentially this year. And then, you know, the article right under that says Dr. Doom, Bitcoin price will crash to zero. So, you know, even the media is out there just saying whatever they can. They're trying to get people to read, whether it's the person who is extremely interested in cryptocurrencies and hope it takes off, or it's the person who thinks cryptocurrencies are going to implode on themselves and the bubble's going to pop. They're just trying to get anybody to read anything, and they're just trying to get people all stirred up in cryptocurrencies. I actually, if you pay attention to my Twitter or you follow me, I tweeted out this article earlier. And I want to look at this article real quick. Now, this article, it says, this NFL player lost money in Bitcoin, and he is now, I want to make sure this doesn't start blaring sounds out.
So when I entered the...
Okay. And it says he lost money in Bitcoin, and he is now listening to Warren Buffett. And if you've heard what Warren Buffett said cryptocurrencies are a big bubble. They're all going to collapse. Everyone who invests in them is going to be extremely hit with the hard times when they lose all their money in cryptocurrencies, and it's just going to be crazy. And this article talks about New York Giants linebacker Devon Kennard, and it says how he's good with money. He's very humble with his money. He's driven the same car that he bought in high school, even when he's in the NFL and stuff like that. And then it talks about how after Bitcoin hit its all-time high up at $19,000, everybody in the locker room started talking about cryptocurrency. As I talked about in one of my previous videos, Richard Sherman has gotten into cryptocurrencies and he has started investing in them. But he has kind of taken the opposite approach on it. He is saying that cryptocurrencies are the future and he wants to continue to learn about them because he understands them, and he didn't put 100% of whatever capital he was willing to invest in it all at once. Now, if you read down here on his quote, I'm going to be honest, I downloaded Coinbase, I put in a couple $100s. That's all he says, is he put in a couple $100s. Now, I'm not familiar with what this guy made, so I actually Googled him, and one of the first articles that came up was he actually received $1 million raise onto his contract in the 2017 season, which was last year, through the season that he just played. And it stated that his contract was worth, it was like 3 point something million. It was close to $4 million. And all it says is he put a couple $100s into cryptocurrencies. And now he's saying that he's really disappointed. He wasn't ready for this loss. And he can say that certainty, is a quote right here, I can say with almost certainty that it will come to a bad ending. It's only coming to a bad ending because he invested in an all-time high, and this is really what is happening to a lot of people. That's kind of what I want to break down. You have more and more people who hear about it from their family, their friends or coworkers or whatnot, and they just go out and they download Coinbase or whatever they can get their money into it from. I've seen that Bread Wallet is also going to open up credit cards to crypto fiat, a gateway there, but I don't know how many credit card companies they're going to be working with now that all these credit card companies want to ban them. But all these people are trying to get their money into cryptocurrencies in whatever way they can, and they're not researching cryptos before they get into it. And they don't understand the volatility of the markets. They don't understand the technology behind the markets. And when you have a situation where the markets, why would you buy in? I mean, I understand everybody has kind of got this instant gratification phase in the world these days. So when you see something go from $3,000 last month up to over 6 times its value in the course of like a month to 6 weeks, and that's what essentially Bitcoin did, was it was around $4,000 at Thanksgiving and shot up to an all-time high close to $20,000 before the year was over. You're obviously going to be kind of inclined to invest in it, especially when you see everybody else investing in it and talking about it and the news getting into it. But, you want to also look at the people that are investing in it. He only put in a couple $100s. This guy's worth a few $1 million. So he didn't lose that much money. I would definitely be more, I would take this with more of a grain of salt if it was somebody who maybe put their life savings into cryptocurrency and they were worth $10,000, or maybe even if they were worth $10,000 and put in $1,000, I would take this more seriously, because that person actually lost money that meant something to them. I understand he's humble with his money and everything, but a couple $100 losing in cryptocurrency, my portfolio fluctuates several $1,000s every time I open it, so it's nothing to be turned off about in cryptocurrencies. And if you can't stomach losses like that, then cryptocurrencies are not for you, and especially the gains as they are coming, they're not for you either, because you're not going to be able to stomach a 5 and 6 times gain if you can't stomach a 10-20% loss. So pretty much that's all I've really got to say about that. But there's one thing I want to close with today, and it's kind of just a coin that has recently got released and I want to talk about. I actually made a ICO review about it when its ICO was going a month ago. And I've been very interested in this coin since I first heard about it about mid 2017 last year. And that's when I started looking into it. And along with the hype I found behind it, where there were so many people that were just interested in this coin, and that is also something you want to look into in cryptocurrencies, because it could be a great project, but if there's nobody who's interested in it, even in the short term, you're not going to see any price benefits. But this coin that I'm going to be talking about, and that I have been talking about for a while, it's seen a ton of hype, and I think it is going to boom. So that coin is actually Bluezel. So if you've been paying attention to my Telegram channel, my Instagram channel, my Twitter, I've I don't really talk about many coins, but I've talked about Bluezel. I've tweeted about Bluezel a couple times. I've posted Bluezel on my Instagram. I'm a fan of Bluezel. I've actually even made the ICO review about Bluezel. And what Bluezel is it is a decentralized database where decentralized apps can actually put their applications on. So you have situations where they want to do this by breaking it up into mesh networks and sharding and all that. And they want to make sure that even if computers were to go down in any of these networks, users wouldn't be affected by this. As you were paying attention to a couple of years ago, Amazon, their S3 servers went down, and a lot of websites people were trying to access were just not working. And people were getting extremely frustrated. Maybe you had to pay your bills, or maybe you personally, I was playing fantasy sports at the time, and the fantasy sports pages were not loading. And luckily, I think the fantasy sports places actually refunded everybody's money due to the situation that went on. But, you had other things aside from that were going on in the world. That was just one little thing that I was doing. There's tons of other people that needed the internet for other things going on, and they were unable to take advantage of it because the servers crashed. And, when that happened, even though they were no way really associated personally with these servers, the websites that they were using were running through these servers. So that's where Bluezel kind of wants to step in. They want to break up all of these databases and their files and how they run through just mesh networks and sharding. That way, even if a computer or something like that did get shut down, there would be no break in the network, and everything would be able to continue to run fine. And I'm also a big fan of them because they have worked with giant companies. They were working with Microsoft even before they decided to create Bluezel. And they were helping to get Microsoft integrated into blockchain technology and all that. And they actually were taking regular computer programming software, and they were trying to code it to integrate it with blockchains and all that, and they were having problems with doing that. And that's when they actually just went out and created Bluezel and the Bluezel token network and all that, and not the token network but the Bluezel network. And that's where you were able to host your applications on. And on that, you would be using the Bluezel network token, the BNT token, aside from the BLZ token, which is the Bluezel token, which was what you trade in the open exchanges and stuff like that. But it's a great project, and yesterday it actually got released onto Binance. This is the first exchange it's been released on, and the tokens were supposed to be locked, I think, until about February 20th to 21st. The ICO ran January 18th or 19th it started, and it ran for about 2 or 3 days. It sold out instantly for all the tiers that it was open for as soon as they opened up, pretty much. And they were saying that the token was going to get listed on exchanges and they were going to get unlocked 30 days after the ICO completed. But it's only been about, I think, 2 to 3 weeks after the ICO is completed, and they have released the token. They have unlocked the tokens, and they have released it on Binance, which I think is great. And when the token actually did come out, it was only about 33 cents. So I actually had to go, and yesterday when I woke up, I saw the email about Bluezel unlocking their tokens. They sent out an email to everybody who invested, or whoever's email addresses were whitelisted. And I got onto Binance, and I saw Bluezel was only at 33 cents. So by the time I sent a lot of my funds over, it was about 35-40 cents. And I invested pretty heavily in Bluezel. I put a decent amount of my funds in it because I've been just so excited about Bluezel. And I even told myself, like, even if I'm buying it at a high point, I don't even care. I'm just buying it because I've been so excited about this token. So I want to say that I'm very heavily invested in this token. So I'm not trying to shill this in any way. You always want to go out and you want to look at this token. You want to do your own research about it before you invest in it. You want to look at their team and everything like that. But they also were talking at I think at the NEO San Francisco conference that just happened about a week or two ago. And they were talking about their platform and the technology they have to offer out there during that. So I didn't really hear much about it from when it happened, but I just know that a lot of people, as you start to find out what Bluezel is and has to offer, it is definitely something that is needed in cryptocurrency and in this space. So personally, I have moved a decent amount of my funds to this, and I think that this is a great project. And I encourage you guys to look into this project and learn about more projects that are kind of have to do with this niche in cryptocurrency, as well as every other niche in cryptocurrencies. There's going to be so many that just start taking off in this new year that you're going to be able to invest in some of these, and you're going to be able to make 6, 10, 20 times your money, and even more depending on what you invest in. But that's all I pretty much got for you guys today. I dragged this on a little bit longer than I was hoping to. But for the most part, just enjoy these green markets today. I was about to say don't sell on the red because I'm so used to saying that lately, but it's green, guys. It feels nice. It feels nice to actually be up in the green for a day. Hopefully we can continue this for at least 1 or 2 more days, and that way I feel like we will be out of the dip for good, at least for the moment, until our dip probably later on in 2018. But I think that was probably the bottom of our giant trek downwards for the moment, hopefully. So let's keep our fingers crossed. Let's keep our portfolios held tight and all our coins held tight, unless you see something that you guys really want to trade into, like me personally, how I saw Bluezel. Whatever you guys feel like doing at a time like this. I'm not a financial advisor, so don't take any of this as financial advice. Just enjoy, and let's just keep making money in this ever-growing space, guys, and I'll be around to talk to you guys tomorrow. Enjoy.